You said the word Lydian there. I thought, ah, shit, I got nowhere we're going here. I'm just going to have to literally find a note.
Yeah. Anytime somebody says anything like Lydian, the door, just play pentatonic.
Right.
There it is.
You can never go wrong.
So where do I look?
This is the main camera.
I look
And
into that little hole.
You on that one. Yeah, this is the little funny lens.
Okay.
But don't be fooled. Just because it's small.
Okay, I don't do intros. Everybody knows who he is. Lee, why are you about to answer 10 questions from me? This doesn't count.
Okay, because you're here and I'm a nice host.
Excellent.
I suppose.
That's exactly what I would say. I have 10 questions for Captain Lee Anderton. First question is, why do you play guitar?
I suspect I play guitar for the same reason that most men of my generation decided they wanted to play guitar, because we wanted to be the cool kid in school and attract more ladies. And I think it has been scientifically proven that if you play the guitar, you definitely punch above your weight compared to non-guitar players. So yeah, it certainly wasn't for the love of music or anything like that.
Case in point, our wives.
It was absolutely. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Good job.
So I'm not saying that you've punched above your weight, but you have punched above your weight.
What's the most interesting chord that you know?
That's a really good one. I mean, I currently like...
Ooh, the little minor 11.
Is that a minor 11? Because I like... I mean... I'm a much... I want to be a better chord player. I've spent like 20 years of my guitar playing life admiring the people with all the big chops, and then the last probably 3 years admiring the people with the good chords. Mm-hmm. And I think the good chords are where it's at more so than the good chops.
It's the Sultans of Swing concept.
Is that, yeah.
He knows all the chords.
Right.
Isn't that the reason that he's a great guitar player?
Yeah, and it's definitely, and fun enough, I mean, that's, we joke about how little I know about theory and stuff like that. It's stuff like that that's almost, I think lead stuff you can just, if you take the sort of the chromatic approach to trying to play anything, eventually you find a note that works, and if you find a few notes that works, you just put them together and there's a lick. Chords-wise, I'm struggling so much more because, if you don't fundamentally understand the kind of the theory of when people are talking about adding notes into chords and how that changes the dominance of the chord.
Well, I think that everybody learns differently though too. You don't necessarily have to understand that stuff to know what you like and play well, but I want to show you this real quick. So this is what you were playing before, right?
Yeah.
Take your pinky and move it up half step. Yeah. So that is what I end like every bluesy thing or like on the one chord.
Is that the same? I mean, I call it my Jimi Hendrix chord. So
it's close to that.
Take my delay off. I like there's a tune that Rob Chapman plays where you swap your first and your second finger around and everything.
Yeah.
So it goes from an A root note to a D. But that's the only two fingers that move, and it's quite difficult to do the first time. It's an awkward chord, but it makes a good noise.
I like that. It makes a good noise.
But yeah, and so
the next time you play a bluesy lick, or whatever.
Oh, I see.
It's an ending chord. That's how I like to use it.
Sort of
it's like a suspended.
It's like suspense chord, isn't it? What's going to happen next?
It leaves the door open. What is your favorite guitar effect?
Distortion and delay. Distortion. Distorted delay. Distort delay. No, I am spoilt with pedals, and I want to be that guy that has the big pedal switcher and has like 63 different pedals on a board the size of a door. But I'm just not that guy. I'm the guy that goes, okay, here's a nice, here's a clean sound, and it's like, Got reverb on the amp, have to have reverb. If you don't have reverb, need a pedal for that. That's a nice sound. And then I have probably not many distortion pedals that I over and over go back to. So like hundreds and hundreds of distortion pedals that I've tried and liked whilst I've tried them.
Yeah.
But actual ones that I go back to every time will be literally the ones that we've got. So the ODR one by Nobles that you've got, the Plimsoll by Fulltone, which I've got, a good tube screamer, so an 808 or something like that, or an 808 kind of clone. I have liked that the clonny thing as like a clon. I think sort of kicks it when you're playing a solo and you're anything up.
So this is like, you use this as a boost of a distortion?
I'll put it over
a
distortion.
So this is clean. You like it with both of these. So without...
So if you play rhythm with the Nobles, that's the idea. And then, you said something before we set up, which is, the give me some distortion and delay to hide behind. And, it's absolutely what I want.
Especially, it's just more fun that way. Hiding behind a big, milky curtain. Makes you play differently.
But obviously my advice to you guys out there is to buy loads of pedals.
Right. From Anderton's.
From Anderton's, yes.
Add. What is the most difficult thing about guitar?
It probably isn't what you think it is. I think when I started playing guitar, the sheer horror of having 6 strings and 4 fingers and a thumb to try and make shapes out of was terrifying and looked unbelievably complicated. But for people that have never tried to play guitar, it's absolutely not as complicated as it looks. I was surprised how, as you get into it, it's other stuff. It's rhythm and melody and picking with your right hand and listening. Being able to. You've got one part of your brain that is going, I know what the chords are going to be, and therefore technically I know what shapes and scales and notes will work with that.
Yeah.
And then you play like that, and you realise that you've become terribly robotic, and you're not playing badly. You're just playing a technical pattern over a chord progression. And what I really like, and when I'm really happiest, and I hear myself and think, "Oh man, that sounded really nicely," is when you stop doing that and you really zone in on what is the musicality of the song, and then you embellish that song with just something nice that adds an extra, layer of musicality to it. So and it doesn't have to be, you can have someone will play something unbelievably complex and fast, or one note like B.B. King or something like that, and they can both work. But you can definitely tell, I think, when the guitar part is there to enhance the overall musicality of a song, as opposed to it's just there to show off, or it's just there for the sake of being there, So, yeah, I know. Pete and I do this a lot. I'll come in the mornings, and I tend to get in, about half an hour before we open, and so I'll come in and have a coffee with Pete. We'll put a backing track on and we'll play, and it's definitely.
That must be a nice.
It's a great way to start the day.
That'd be pretty cool. I wish I could start my days like that. Pete.
Yes, it's inspiring and demoralising at the same
it shouldn't
time.
Be.
But where you. And then Pete will throw me a bone every so often. He'll go, "Yeah, that was nice," and you go, "Oh yes, thank you."
Look what you did there.
He doesn't say it very often, but
then you get spoiled and you wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. That's very true.
It's like kids,
String you along.
He's a stern tutor. So no, it's good. It's but it's a journey, isn't it? Because what you at the beginning of playing guitar, you I don't know about aspire to, but stuff that's important at the beginning, like speed and chops and distortion, and how you stand and everything, become less important as you get older, I think you begin to approach things at a much more melodic
One may call
level.
that finding their voice.
Yeah.
What do you believe about playing guitar that other guitar players may think is crazy?
Oh, I don't know that I don't think I have any terribly controversial views on playing the guitar.
What's the first thing that just came into your head right now?
So, for me, Hendrix is, as a guitar player and a songwriter and a singer and a pioneer, he is peerless. But I never really liked his sound very much.
Ooh, so his tone.
His tone, I like it, but I don't, you know, a lot of my favorite Hendrix songs are covers that other people have done of his songs.
I could see that.
So I'm sorry about that, everyone. But look, please don't get me wrong.
Pete is in the background, just irate.
He is, as a pioneer of how people play the electric guitar, he is, you know, for me anyway, he is the top of the mountain. There's nobody that influenced electric guitar playing in the way that he did, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I just, those big Marshall amps and that's slightly
Is it his
out of tune
live
guitar.
sound or overall just the tone of? Because he has so many different sort of
There's a lot of
iconic
layers, yeah.
sounds.
There's a lot
I'm
of-
wondering what you associate the Hendrix tone as.
I don't know. I mean, a case in point is my favourite version of Little Wing is on a Sting album called
cool.
something like, is it Dream of, no, I think it was the one after that, might be Nothing Like the Sun.
Yeah.
And it's done by a guitar player called Hiram Bullock, who I don't think is alive anymore. And it's quite a studio sound. See, I've always liked, I like people like Steve Lukather's guitar sound, you know, where it's sort of...
Just the fat meat.
yeah, it's kind of, it's
like
so it isn't that sort of
saturation.
1960s. I could probably, I mean, I sound terrible. Like Eric Clapton, for example, who is my, you know, that time when I was learning to play guitar in that sort of mid to late 80s, and he did the August album and the Journeyman album, which are still my two kind of favourite Clapton albums. Again, it's a very studio sound, and I go back to that 80s and I think of all the albums that were massive then, like, you know, the Brothers in Arms and like Peter Gabriel's So and the Clapton, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I suppose I like that. So whereas I can go back and I can listen to all the Cream stuff and I can listen to Hendrix and I can listen to Zeppelin, and like the songs are amazing, like off the charts amazing. I never really go, that's the sound I want to get.
All right, well, it's been nice hanging with you.
I feel bad, you know, look, don't get me
There's a
wrong.
lot of tension in this room now.
Hendrix doesn't come on the radio and I don't reach for the dial and go, "Take off!" like that. At all. Not at all. It's just a thing. It's just a thing that people might go, I'm a little bit surprised there. Unsubscribe.
Perfect. Do aspiring guitar players need teachers or online lessons to succeed?
They need, more than anything, the drive and determination that I didn't have. And I think that's, so if I've had the good fortune to have interviewed lots of really great guitar players, like really great guitar
Like me.
players. Absolutely, like yourself. And what you begin to realize is not one of them had followed a particular path. You know, not one of them said, oh, I got lessons, or I listened to everything on the internet, or I learned everything by ear, or da da da. What they all had was in their inner DNA something that from a relatively young age, not an insanely young age, but from like early teens, every single one of them dedicated thousands of hours of their life to mastering the instrument. And so that's my sort of feeling. And I don't even necessarily, so people sort of say, do you think that people are born to be a good guitar player or whatever? And I'm like, I'm not convinced that anybody's born
I mean,
with
Steve Vai's hands are huge, so
yeah, but I don't know that I even,
that doesn't matter.
I don't know who, I'm trying to think of a guitar player with
Hey,
small
what'd you say?
hands now. He probably did something about
He
hands
said
and
a
feet.
thing. Everybody knows what he said.
But it's so I've got this theory that if you are born with it where you have a sort of you're genetically inclined to be a bit obsessive about something,
Yeah.
whether it's going to be sport or music or whatever, and guitar happens to be your thing, you'll just be really good at playing guitar. Not necessarily really good at writing songs. I think there's probably a deeper thing about songwriting that perhaps is a bit more fundamental to your DNA. And I just didn't have that. I'm like that now. I have a terrible attention span. Who are you again? Why are we here? And I just can't do anything for long enough to be any good at it. So,
Well, you're good at guitar. So I'm
like okay. You know, I am the meme of the guy with the world's okayest guitar player. You know, I'm what you could be if you can do, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours a week, be lucky enough to surround yourself by people who are way, way better than you are, and enjoy it. You know, I mean, I'm of a level that you can get to that. And I started when I was 15 or 14 or 15 or something like that. So again, you know, it's not like I picked it up later in life, and I'm sure that is much harder to get into.
Yeah.
But I'm having some sort of lessons with Justin Sanderco at the moment. And one of the topics we're going to discuss is how, if you're working like I am and you've got kids, whatever, and so your guitar practice regime has to be when you can grab it, not, it's always going to be like 4 till 5 every day or whatever. Yeah, how to maximize that time. Because I'm, again, like I'm sure most guitar players, if you get half an hour to play guitar, you want to enjoy it. So you want to play stuff that you think, yeah, I'm going to play some cool riffs like this. But then you just play the same thing over and over again every half an hour for the rest of your life, and you never progress. So, you know, I'm that, how do I balance this sort of thing about going, right, I've got half an hour to play guitar, I'm going to do something I'm going to really not enjoy, like, you know, on the basis that if I do it enough, it'll open stuff up and then I can do more stuff that I will enjoy. But that's a whole nother subject.
I find that backing tracks are really helpful when reviewing rote things.
Backing tracks and loopers are amazing. I am ebbing and flowing from which do I prefer, you know, and I think it's just both. You know, some days I want to do a chord progression and play over the top of it. Other days I just want to put a backing track on and try and do different stuff. Mm-hmm. But I got a tip from a chap called Simon McBride, great guitar player, Simon McBride, the other day, about saying, and he was just saying, play licks, like the same licks you always do, but pick a different note to start on or a different note to end on, and just keep playing the same lick but choose a different note, and again you quite quickly build up, oh yeah, okay, that's cool, and without necessarily having to train yourself to play a whole new different lick. But that's I kind of think given I've got very short windows of practice time, I think that's how I'll have to break it up. And that's why I think I'm just accepting the fact I'm never going to just be a guy that gets theory, because I just think it's too much effort.
Start very small.
That's the plan, isn't it?
Don't try and see the whole ocean at once. That's my tip.
Deep. Well, you know, when the camera's off, you'll have to explain that in a snippet of 5 minutes that my attention span will allow me to follow.
What's the best note you've ever heard?
You know which one.
Immediately, all the guitar players in the room are like, I know.
It's not
Wait, that was it? Can I
think that's it. It works out. You can play that anywhere. No, it's I don't know really.
I thought you were getting at something deeper, like a bend on the thicker strings.
The best note is the one where you hit the feedback and your guitar sustains forever, and you can just sit on, you know, some sort of huge, probably not too far up. I think I'm probably thinking bends around the sort of seventh to ninth fret on one of the top 3 strings. No, not even that. Not the top string. It's too weak. So it'd be on like the G or the B string. But obviously you need maximum distortion, maybe a bit more volume. Is there a best note? The one that sounds nice in the context of what you're playing.
This is the best note. It's always the root.
That Hendrix thing that he does, where again he gets the guitar to go from that heavy vibrato into the feedback thing, is, I mean, that's great. Any guitar player that can
When
do
I
that
heard
is
that
great.
that whole, I think he actually does it on this thing here. That thing, right?
It's amazing how kind of instantly recognizably Hendrix that thing is.
That's my favorite note.
That's a great note. Well, you win that one. Your note's better than mine.
It's very close second. A very close second is a bend that Steve Vai hits in Tender Surrender. You know which one I'm talking about. I'll overdub it. If you could put up a billboard that every guitar player would drive past every day, what would you want that billboard to say?
That's deep, isn't it? That's deep. Shop at Anderton's.
He would just sell his soul.
Yeah. Oh man.
You're a true businessman.
No, it's I do it for love. You know, do it just. I know it sounds. Aww. It is. It's like
I'm
just,
really warm.
It is just.
The weed.
It's yeah. I just think it's like there. I don't think I'm ever as, you know, I've got a beautiful family, 2 beautiful daughters, and you know,
this is all written on the billboard.
You know, I look at them and I think, you know, this is miracles and so much love and all that kind of stuff. But family aside, I don't think there's anything that I do in my life that kind of, I don't know, just makes me feel so content as to just, and what I mean by the do it for love is it's like, don't worry about what technical ability you're at. Don't worry about what gear you can afford or can't afford. Don't worry about what other people say about your playing or whatever like that. Just enjoy the fact that you are able to sit and make noises on this amazing thing called a guitar. And you know, and I'm, people will go, you're in business to sell the guitars, so of course you will have this point of view. But it is utterly the other way around. Yeah. I am in business selling guitars.
You didn't like have dreams to be like, I want to sell guitars one day.
I loved the instrument, and I wanted to surround myself with as many of them as possible.
You've done well.
So, and I still get a weird, like, emotional lump in my throat, and it sounds bizarre, but every Christmas or whatever, and I'm, you know, and the stereotypical young 10, 12-year-old kid comes in, and mum and dad are going to buy them a guitar for Christmas, and they choose a Squire Strat Pack, which I guess probably like 99% of people choose, but they have to choose a red one. I don't know why, because probably my guitar was red. Yeah. And they go, can we just see it before we take it out of the store like that? And you're like, okay. So you get, you unbox it, and it's like that Pulp Fiction moment of like the golden glow coming out, and they got like the cellophane on it, and it's always a bit awkward to get the cellophane off. And just as you're pulling it down, this like red, just thing of utter beauty comes out, and you're literally just going, there you go. You may now,
I bequeath to you this new way of life.
Partake upon this journey that is going to change your life, and like it's, I'm probably never going to see you again, but you know, but whatever. Yeah. It's just like, here you go, and it's
cool to be part of that journey.
I still get that more, selling expensive guitars and selling people their 3rd, 5th, 100th guitar or whatever. It's great fun to meet people and stuff like that, but it's. It's a business transaction. We buy it at one price, we sell it at another price. Hopefully we live off the difference. But the first one is definitely like more emotional.
I feel like during this whole monologue, this should have been playing.
Yeah. Can we have some really?
Hold on. It'll be like this.
I want to. Oh, that's it. The test will be. In the comment section, if you cried a bit during that bit, then basically Tyler played the right music. That's great. Hi. You should play the guitar. It will change your life forever.
There's your favorite chord.
You will be happy, contented, healthier, a much better wife than you would have had you not learned. Better looking, not necessarily better. Maybe better too.
Unfortunately, you don't have the attention span.
I have the attention span of a flea. Yeah, absolutely.
It's all over.
Just make sure you write that prenup so she can't have any of your guitars when she leaves you.
And that's the end of the billboard.
Yeah.
Is the guitar dying, living, or evolving?
Wow. Deep and topical. Well, probably more topical last year, wasn't it? Guitar is Dead had like a zillion headlines last year. Gibson in financial trouble, another zillion headlines.
You can be succinct with it.
What? No? Was that succinct enough? Do I think it's dying? It has to evolve. I don't even know if it has to evolve, other than I completely understand that young people will not want to listen to dead people's music. It's just, what are you supposed to relate to? You know, if like, so, you know, I wanted to listen to people when I was growing up that I could relate to, and I'm sure you did the same, and I'm sure our parents did the same, and I'm sure our children will want to do the same. And it's, so I don't have a problem if we just rehash old music, as long as young people do it, and then inevitably they'll put their spin on it. But you know, I don't. So I don't know. Is it dead? It's just nothing suggests that, you know, the underlying sales numbers suggest it isn't. But you know, we are manufacturing millions of guitars a year. So at some point or other, you sit there going, where are they all going to go? There's got to be some sort of point at which it reaches a peak. But no, I don't think there's any less excitement around the guitar than there ever was.
Let it be written.
I'm never going to be a retire if the guitar is dead. Please don't be dead. Please.
Okay, final question for you, Lee. How do I play guitar in 3 words or less?
How do I play guitar in 3 words?
Just if you had to tell somebody... Oh.
Is that
the most literal answer I've ever received to that question?
Yes, I'm going to leave it like that, because otherwise I'll just talk for another half an hour about something else, and this will be a 3-hour-long video. So there we
Thanks
are.
for having me in this
Man,
glorious
I should thank
place.
you for coming. You've travelled a long way to get here, and yes, good luck with everything you're trying to do on YouTube. It's very, very cool. I enjoy it very much.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. They were good questions.
Happy to stop the cameras and audio?
Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
they were good questions. It's 100%. It's 100%. I cannot imagine what my life would have been like if someone had said, can I ask you 10 questions about selling life insurance?